It's Monday, the 21st of June 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. In today's headlines, regulators warn they're worried about riskier lending as the Commonwealth Bank tightens its mortgage standards. Plus, the Tokyo Olympics will go ahead, but with restrictions. Gold prices tumbled and the Aussie dollar falls back to its lowest level since last year. And the ASX to get a new company this week as Woolworths demerges its liquor and gaming business. Our lead story today, the country's biggest home lender, the Commonwealth Bank, has taken steps to tighten standards, as regulators warn that banks are undertaking riskier loans and need to keep a close watch on not overdoing it. As house prices surge across the country and with interest rates tipped to increase in the next couple of years, there are growing concerns that some borrowers are getting in over their heads. Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said he had spoken to the Reserve Bank about the run-up in house prices. While it was a good thing that prices were increasing, Mr Frydenberg said that the Reserve Bank and the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority needed to keep a close watch on whether the market was overheating. The Council of Financial Regulators, which includes the Reserve Bank and APRA, last week said while it wasn't concerned yet, there had been greater risk-taking by lenders, and they'd written to banks asking them to proactively manage those risks. Commonwealth Bank on Friday said it would tighten up its assessment criteria on the ability of borrowers to repay their loans at higher interest rates. Regulators and lenders will want to take the heat out of the housing market. It's not sustainable. They prefer it happens naturally, but that's not happening yet. Don't be surprised if sometime soon the regulators step in. In overseas news, Wall Street ended last week in a very different place to where it started. Cyclical companies, the ones that do best in an economic upturn and had been in fashion, did poorly after the Fed projected 2 interest rate rises by the end of 2023. The tech stocks, which couldn't find a friend a month ago, did best. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was 3.5% lower over the week, the worst since January. The broad-based S&P 500 fell 2% and the Nasdaq was down 0.4% for the week. The COVID-19 outbreak in Brazil continues to grow, with the country marking 500,000 deaths over the weekend, second only to the United States. The mortality rate in Brazil, 2.8 deaths per 100 cases, is far greater than in the US, and there are around 2,000 deaths a day being recorded. Globally, there has now been 178 million cases of COVID-19, with 3.9 million deaths. And the Tokyo Olympics, scheduled to start at the end of next month, will go ahead, but the city is implementing restrictions on gatherings to watch the sporting extravaganza. As it stands, there are no international visitors allowed. Locals can attend events, but not watch them on giant screens that were due to be set up, and the number of athletes and officials have been reduced. Let's hope it goes ahead without a major COVID crisis. Locally, the National Cabinet will hold an emergency meeting today following the shake-up of the national vaccine rollout late last week when AstraZeneca was cut for anyone under the age of 60. Prime Minister Scott Morrison is expected to attend remotely from the Lodge as he continues his quarantine period after returning from Europe last week. Up until yesterday, 6.5 million doses of all vaccines had been administered across Australia. In New South Wales, the state government is pushing for a doubling of testing rates. So far, the outbreak of community-transmitted cases has been contained, but the government wants to boost testing rates, particularly around the Bondi region in Sydney's east. Yesterday, State Premier Gladys Berejiklian announced new restrictions as a result of the outbreak. The ASX gets a new top 100 company this week when Endeavour Group is demerged from Woolworths and starts trading on Thursday. Shareholders in Woolworths overwhelmingly approved the split on Friday, and the liquor, hotels and poker machine business will be worth around $12 billion. The group owns Dan Murphy's and BWS, among others, 332 licensed venues and 12,364 poker machines. It's the third largest gaming company in the country behind Crown Resorts and the Star Group. Each shareholder will receive one Endeavour share for every Woolworths share they own. Westpac Chief Economist Bill Evans expects the Reserve Bank to begin tightening monetary policy via lifting the official cash rate in the first quarter of 2023. Mr Evans called the drop in the unemployment rate last month from 5.5% to 5.1%, which was announced last week, a game changer. Mr Evans is well known for his ability to pick changes in monetary policy. The Aussie dollar has had a tough run as global investors back higher interest rates in the United States. The Aussie dropped further over the weekend and is currently trading around 74.8 US cents. That's its lowest level since late last year. Gold prices also fell, capping the worst 7-day period for the precious metal in 15 months. The slump was in response to the Fed comments about interest rate rises. And the leader of the Federal Nationals and Deputy Prime Minister Michael McCormack has brushed aside media reports over the weekend that he could face a challenge from Barnaby Joyce this week. He said he was focused on helping Australians recover. Maybe, but I bet he made a few phone calls over the past couple of days. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. Make sure you hit follow so you get it every morning. And if you'd like more detail and more stories, search for our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed. We also release a daily interview. Today, we're talking to Chris Bryke from StockSpot about the best performing ETFs and how to invest in a market that keeps breaking records. We'll be back later with the afternoon market report. I'm Sean Aylmer. Have a great day.